This is Day 10, Lecture 8. And before I start the lecture, I want you to go on your calculator, hit the mode key, and make sure your calculator is in radian mode. We're going to be graphing trig graphs, and we're graphing them in terms of radians, not degrees. Okay, to begin, the sine graph, we're going to put the vertical axis along the left side of the page, the horizontal axis in the middle. Now, for most of you, you've graphed these before, but it may have been a while, so we'll review them. We're going to take our horizontal axis and break it into 4 equal regions. Now, I've got 20 boxes here, so each one is 4. That's my horizontal, or x-axis. Now, the vertical axis, I'm going to have go up as high as +1 and down as low as -1. That will change as we go along and do other problems. But for the basic sine graph, it fluctuates between -1 and +1. Now, the horizontal axis, we're graphing what you would normally think of as 360 degrees, but we're graphing in its equivalent radians, and that's 2 pi radians. 360 degrees is equivalent to 2 pi radians. Half of 2 pi would be pi. Half of pi is pi over 2. And halfway between pi and 2 pi is 3 pi over 2. Now the sine graph crosses the vertical axis at its midline, in this case, the origin. The sine graph increases for the first quarter up to its maximum. It then turns around and decreases to that 0 mark again, that midline. It continues to decrease till it gets to its minimum at 3 pi over 2. Then it turns around and increases again until it reaches its midline again. Connect the graph with as smooth a curve as you can. And I like to do mine in sections, so I get each section as best I can. Whoops, see, I didn't do that right. Again, we want it as smooth as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we want it fairly smooth. Now that's the basic sine graph. Now let's go to the cosine graph. Cosine graph, we're going to put, again, that vertical axis along the left-hand side of the page. The horizontal axis in the middle. We'll break that horizontal axis into 4 equal regions, labeling it as an x. The vertical axis is y. Again, those names can change. Our last value is 2 pi. Middle value is pi. And I'm okay if you don't label the pi over 2 and the 3 pi over 2. We're going up as high as +1 and down as low as -1. Now the cosine graph is similar to the sine graph. It fluctuates between -1 and +1, but it starts on the vertical axis at its maximum. When it reaches its maximum, anytime it reaches its maximum, it turns around and decreases through the midline and then down to the minimum. Then it turns around at the minimum, goes up through the midline, and back up to its maximum. So again, it looks like this. No straight lines, as smooth a curve as you can. I want you to recognize those 2 basic shapes, and we're going to do some transformations on them. But before we do transformations, we need to have some definitions. We're going to be working with the 2 different models, the sine graph, which has model y equals a sine bx plus d, and the cosine y equals a cosine bx plus d. And we're going to talk about what the a, b, and d values are talking about. The amplitude is the height of the graph from the midline to the maximum. And we're going to call that the absolute value of the letter A. So the absolute value of that A that's in front of the equation. The frequency is the number of complete cycles in 2 pi radians. This graph for sine, that's one complete sine cycle. The graph for cosine was one complete cosine cycle. And that frequency is that b value. In this case, that number in front of the x, or the angle. Now, the period of the curve is the number of radians in one complete cycle. And we represent that with 2 pi divided by our b value. Now, the vertical shift. The vertical shift is the amount the graph is moved up or down. And we're going to refer to that as being our d value. The maximum value is going to be the highest point that the graph reaches. And we'll be able to find that out by doing the absolute value of A plus our d value. The minimum value will be the lowest point that the graph reaches. And we'll denote that with the negative of the absolute value of A plus D. I will stop the pre-class video here at this point, and we'll do the problems when you come to class.